watching Joy in Our Town. I'm your host, Julie Haston. Right now we have Mayor Mario Avery of the City of Fairburn. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course, I'm excited to talk about the different developments that you have in the City of Fairburn. But let's go ahead and start off with the issue of transportation. So transportation can be an issue in a lot of cities, but Fairburn is doing a great job in solving that. But how are you solving it?
Well, one of the ways we're solving it, we have a pending project right now. Highway 74 Interstate 85 interchange, where basically we're going to expand the bridge and the highway. We've already had some infrastructure modifications within the last 2 years, right at Oakley Industrial, which is actually 1/4 of a mile from the intersection. And so with the expansion, especially with the expansion of massive commercial development that's going on in the city of Fairburn, we again 5 million square feet of commercial buildings that are actually on the way right now as we speak. We're fully aware that infrastructure needs to be upgraded. Also with the Highway 74 corridor, our business district, where we're trying to recruit restaurants, sit-down restaurants, to come in and locate within our city. Again, with that type of commercial development, that type of industrial type of increase in executive housing is even coming in that same corridor. Transportation is going to be a major concern for me, and so the government has spent, this executive branch in particular, has spent a lot of research hours basically trying to prepare for what we believe is going to be a major intersection as relates to coming and going to downtown Atlanta, or whether you're going south toward Newnan, Georgia. So.
Definitely. So it's something to look forward to. Right now,
Yes, ma'am.
are there any ways of public transport in the City of Fairburn?
Public transport, well, MARTA comes in up and down in a section of our city. Right now, again, because of the transportation concern, a lot of intermodal transportation also is within our city, CXS. But we're also right now working on a situation whereby we can actually increase shuttle type services and consider shuttle type services from our city down to the airport, because again we're less than 10 minutes from Hartsville Airport, and so again we believe that with the massive economic development that's going on, we're going to have a lot of people that don't want to drive on the expressway to Hartsville, but they'd rather be transported back and forth, and so we're looking at that as an avenue of transportation.
Right. Okay. So let's go to housing now. So housing for seniors, and you mentioned housing for executives, but what is the residential issue in the City of Fairburn?
The residential issue that as relates to our housing in particular, the City of Fairburn, we believe we've already got a jump start. Again, one of the things that I foresaw, I guess you could say, when I became the mayor, is the need for not only senior housing, executive housing, increasing blighted area for, to improve some of the dilapidated housing in some of the blighted areas. And so we're actually, the City of Fairburn was working on a program. We're hoping that in the next year or two we'll be considered for the Georgia Initiative Housing Community Program, which allows us to address the blighted areas, which will bring mixed-use housing in the downtown area. But again, with us already basically pursuing the executive housing that's going to take place to house a lot of these commercial development employees that will be coming to Fairburn, with the senior housing program that's right on a highway Highway 29 downtown. We just believe the missing piece is actually the housing as relates to the blighted area. And also, just like to mention too, we have a couple of just nice subdivisions, golfing communities, Durham Lakes, the parks of Durham Lakes, and Village Green. I can just go on. But we've got the middle class housing, we've got the upper class, we've got the seniors, and so again, the last piece of the pie is actually in this case housing in blighted areas and housing for like I said, low income personnel.
Definitely. So thank you for your efforts in that. But that brings us to jobs, because what is a residential area if you don't have people working in the city? So with jobs, what are you doing to help the employment rate of Fairburn?
Well, one of the things that we're very proud of is that we've brought already within the last 5 years of my administration, we brought already over 2,000 jobs, and right now we're on pace to bring probably close to another 2.5 to close to 3,000. One of the things that I thought was very important, as you mentioned, you heard me mention Highway 74 corridor as relates to sit-down restaurants. I'm trying to bring jobs in different markets in different levels. And so we've been successful with recruiting several other restaurants that will bring, the middle class type of jobs, but some of the executive jobs now that will actually take place with some of the major corporations that's going to move to our city. But as it relates to some of the other low-income jobs, we've actually working with Fulton County Workforce Development. We're a great program. Where the director of that program and I have met on a couple of times and talked about having job fair. We've had a job fair in our city off and on, where in our efforts to employ men and women that are especially student level, high school, because what I realize now, a lot of our students at a young age, they have to see that they're employable before they become adults. And so my goal is to instill a level of responsibility and accountability by offering programs through workforce development in conjunction with Fulton County government.
Definitely. So with the students, as you talked about, developing them into, independent adults in the city of Fairburn, there's a thing called the Fairburn Youth Academy. So could you tell us about that?
The Fairburn Youth Academy is a program I'm very proud of. The Fulton County School Board, we wrote a proposal to the Fulton County School Board, and basically they approved the program when we showed them that we would take students from elementary, middle, and high, and we would not only expose them to just leadership type of classes, we would expose them to personnel. We've had men and women from congressional leaders. We've had men and women from the state of Georgia. We've had corporate leaders. I'm working on a guest right now from the White House, and our goal is for these men and women to come in and explain to our youth that the only difference between them and where these kids sit today is age. And so one of the things that I'm just determined, as an Atlanta native, seeing the President of the United States, seeing the governor even of the state, or seeing the mayor of Atlanta when I was young, was just not even, it just didn't seem like a possibility. And so one of the things that I decided is that as we bring these kids to this academy, and we've had just great participation at all three levels of education, I'm excited because a lot of our kids that are participating have now taken the challenge that they're more than a conqueror, that they can be more than a king in their own community. And so with these kids being basically brought in front of these great leaders, men and women at every level of government and corporate as well, the sky's the limit in their mind.
Right. So how do you gather these students, to put this example in front of them? Do you work with the schools of Fairburn?
Yes, ma'am. We when we put this program together, we went to all the schools in our region, and we talked with the principals, and talked with several counselors, and again, of course, the school board. The school board just thought it was just a phenomenal approach, and so the thing that I'm excited about, the kids have become our recruiters. Because for the kids that have come the first two, when we first got going, they spent most of their time trying to get their classmates to come because they said the impact has just been beyond what their imagination.
Definitely. So let's talk a little bit more about education in the city of Fairburn. What is that like in your school system? Well,
the education and the school systems in our area are challenged, and in just all candor. And so one of the things, the public school system, and that's part of why this youth academy came up, because as a product of Atlanta Public Schools myself, one of the things I recognized was that there was a need. The teachers can't do everything. We as much responsibility as we like to lay on the principals and the schools and the teachers, these teachers can't spend time disciplining and teaching at the same time. So that means a community leaders like myself, we have to do and basically supplement programs, bring in programming that will help our kids see that their future is endless. They can be anything they want to be. And so we've been blessed to have a couple of really great private schools, Landmark Christian Academy. And so, with that school alone, sitting right in the heart of downtown Fairburn, we've been blessed to being able to have a mixture of private and public schools that's right here in our city that clearly do a great job. But again, the school system as a whole, I'm personally trying to look at ways how we can help our children outside of the classroom embrace education and see why it is imperative that they understand that what they do in the classroom is a direct impact to what's going to happen outside of the classroom.
That's right. So let's talk about Parks and Recreation in the city of Fairburn. I understand there's a couple developments going on right now, so why don't you tell us about that?
One of the things that we're very proud of, and myself and the city council, my first year as mayor, it was a park called Duncan Park that sits right in the heart of our city. And as a result, we went and purchased the park. And so we purchased it from Fulton County government. And so my major perspective at that time was, before we throw millions of dollars into upgrades and the programming, let's own it. And so we not only bought it, but then we partnered with the Eric Berry Foundation, and we actually have a pro football field, the same field that the Atlanta Falcons play on. The field is in the back of Duncan Park, with again, a joint venture between the city of Fairburn and the Eric Berry Foundation, who plays for Kansas City, who's from our city. And so as a result of now actual pro football field, concessions that the city built, concession stands, a pending swimming pool that we're going to reopen that's been closed for over 25 plus years. And so just upgrades. My perspective is, I spent a lot of time at the parks in Atlanta, and that kept me out of a lot of trouble as a youth. And so we're simply trying to make sure that we have something for our kids to do.
Definitely. So with only about, a minute left now,
Yes,
could you tell us a little bit about the administration in the city of Fairburn and the importance of that? Because obviously, having a good leadership is imperative to a good leading community. So tell us about that.
Well, let me just say this much. The men and women we've been able to hire from the city administration to every department here, we've hired men and women. A lot of them have retired from other agencies, and the response of all the massive economic development that's going on in our city, all the upgrades, is a direct reflection of the experience and the years of service in public service by the different managers. Again, we just won two. We just bid for a utility service against a mega organization, and we won because of the experience of the staff that's on board. And again, the city of Fairburn's credit rating has gone from a person with a credit rating of 500 in 2010 to now a personal credit score will be equivalent to a credit score of 850, almost unheard of. And so that's a direct reflection of the executive branch, the men and women that work 8 hours a day to make sure that myself and the members of council have something to actually be proud of.
Definitely. So thank you so much for telling us about the development in the city of Fairburn. There's many, many good projects going on in your town, and it's a benefit to Metro Atlanta. So thank you so much for watching Joy in Our Town, especially the community of Fairburn. We'll see you next time. Thank you.